So now I'm just ready to drape the handbag cake with fondant. I have some yellow and a bit of brown mixed together to make the shade. I have that ready to be rolled, and the cake has been in the fridge for about 3 to 4 hours. I've just taken it out and then left it again for about 3 to 4 hours until it was dried out completely on the outside, and then I just went on top to brush some water, because we need moisture on the outside of the dried ganache cake. We need to add the water. So once we're going to drape, then the fondant only then will stick onto the cake. Now how I'm going to do the draping is, I'm just going to cover this entire side, one whole side. So that is the sheet that I would need to go around, and I will do that to this side as well, and then it is just going to merge. Now I'll cut the excess in the middle, and that middle will look like it's a stitch mark. So it's just one piece here and one piece on the other side, and then on the top I'm just going to have a strip which will just cover my entire cake. Okay, so just set that one aside, just get my craft mat in. So I'm going to roll, and if it is sticky and not moving, you know what you need to do: corn flour, I'm just going to check for the size. The height is about 7.5 inch. The width is about 10, but I need excess because it needs to go all the way inside, right? I'm just going to go about 12 to about even 14. So it just needs to go inside that curve. So I think I have quite a bit here. Let me just extend on both the sides there. So obviously you want to extend, then you want the fondant moving. So corn flour underside. I'm just going to pick up the fondant by just rolling it. Also the other way, we could just have a straight cut here at the bottom. So that will be excess. Going to roll it so I could panel it from the sideways, and as I'm rolling, so I get the cake. Start from this end. I'm just going to get the excess cut first. So here on the top, I just want to leave a bit of a hanging there. You want to neatly cut through and then make it stand like that will be the top edge of the handbag. You could also allow it to wait for some time, which is allowing the fondant to dry up. Now going to cut now. I'm just going to have this layer come in, so I could just go in between and make one line marking, so I could just remove both the sides. Okay, so this one side is done. So I'm just kneading up the second portion of the fondant to go on the next side as well. I think the size would be quite good. It is quite more. It's going to go on to pick up the right size. I'm going to go to keep it 8, not too much. So you could save that as well. I'm just going to go into the center and then make the cut. Let me just make the marking by making it face myself, so I know the line is pretty straight out there. I just made that marking. I'm just going to cut this through both the layers. Pass it through the inner layer as well. I just open this out and peel that inner layer just like you do in the paneling. You just have a gap, which I'm just going to gently borrow some fondant and just get it down. Just pushing both in so the gap is not seen. All this excess I'll just get back to cutting them, but right now I'm just sealing the joints, and similarly I'll just do it to the other side. Let me just make a marking first. And then pass the craft knife. To remove the outer layer and just make sure if the craft knife has fully passed through the inner layer of the fondant as well. Open this up and remove this out, and then gently put it back. Just make sure you're just merging. It's sticky, so I'm just adding some corn flour, just pushing it. So just don't have the gaps through which I see the ganache. All the ganache has to be sealed. We'll get this excess from the bottom. I'm just tucking in a bit. So it looks like the bottom is not quite flat and doesn't have to show that we've draped the fondant and that's the end of fondant. So just running it through gently. So the bottom of the fondant is all nicely tucked inside. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do before the fondant dries out is it looks smooth now because I just quickly draped it without too much of wrinkles or breaks, but then a little bit of surface which is not smooth. Also, I could show you how you could do if your fondant draping is not quite smooth, because we don't have a fondant smooth. I mean, we can't use a fondant smoother on a surface like this which is not a square or a round. Okay, and so I'm just going to apply some corn flour. If your fondant is already dry, you don't have to do this corn flour step. Now if it is getting a bit sticky, then you could just do corn flour brush all over. You just remove excess also along with it. You just don't want it to be wet. Then use a fondant of the same color, just make a ball, okay, and then go on and use that as a smoother to smooth out the surface. It's just nothing but the same colored fondant, but you don't want that surface to be sticky. So dust corn flour. So it would go through all the gaps, and once it just got squished out fully, then make a ball again. Okay, so once that is done, the next thing I want to do is to run a stitch tool. So this is a wheel tool, and there are about 1, 2, and then 3 wheels attached. So this one would give a stitch mark. So I'm just going to run it through, and that I'm doing it right now because once the fondant dries out, then you will not be able to do this. So I'm just going to run it through both the ends where I have joined the fondant, right? I'll do it here as well. I want to run it on the top also. Let me just finish the sides first. So the stitch marks are also done. I just have one more thing left, which is the top strip, top of the cake, the ganache is seen, and that needs to be fixed. And I'm also going to add one brown patch here on the bottom. It's just like an added color and to make it look like, you know, that has like a designer handbag. I'm also going to use a silicone mat to get some impression, to use it here on the bottom band. And once we have the top covered, and maybe with the handle, we'll just get done. So I'll just get back with the silicone mold and the brown fondant to do the patch at the bottom. So I just cleaned up a bit, and I also have some brown fondant rolled and cut into strips. So this is for the top. So let me just first cover the top. So I wouldn't be needing like so much. I'm just going to go in, and if there's excess, I'm going to cut. Just going to push it so the ganache is covered fully. This will anyway be a hidden part. We just will be using it to add the handle. We don't want the ganache to be exposed. Okay, so now after this, like I said, I have the strips to go on the bottom part of the handbag, and I have this mat. It is basically an alligator skins impression mat. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just kind of use this to give it a leather finish. So I'm just going to get this strip on the mat, both of them. I'm just going to use a fondant smoother. Just go over it. You don't have to roll on this. So get it to the thickness you want and just press it down. I'm just going to get the handbag in. And now there are times when we are going to add fondant on top of fondant, and you're not sure that if it is going to be like permanent, but maybe you have to maybe peel it and then add it again, or maybe if you have to just cut through the top to just make sure it is leveled or something. By adding water, then we just make it difficult to peel it. So just applying some shortening will allow the fondant to stick also, and we can also just peel it off gently and cut it through, and it is going to be mess free. So just massage shortening where you think you need. So then I have this mat where the impression is there. Just take it all the way to the bottom and make sure it's all nicely tucked in. Just going to lift it up. I'm just going to cut it through. So it's just the shortening, so it would just come out without much of a mess. Then for the other side, I'm just done with this leather layer. I just got some feel of there's that leather in the handbag, and I will be left with the handle. With the handle, I think we'll just complete the handbag cake. I'll get back when I'm ready to show you how to make the handle and finish making the handbag cake.